This is a work of the Durham Church of Christ. Visit our website at durhamcoc.com.
In Matthew chapter 5, verse 41, we see the words of Jesus while he was upon this earth during his earthly ministry. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. It was the rule of the Roman custom to require that a citizen within the Roman control was to go a mile or fulfill the needs of, let's say, a Roman soldier who is passing through that region. So if a Roman soldier were coming through the area of Jerusalem and compelled a Jew to go with him a mile, that Jew was not only to go a mile, but was to go two, according to the commandments of Jesus. And of course, Jesus is giving us the gospel. So such a mindset is really applicable to all man. Jesus, however, is dealing here in a Jewish context, and the Jews were subject to the Romans. However, they were very much a free people. They believed themselves not to be subject to the Romans, and they prided themselves rather in being free from the control of any man, because they thought they were under God's law, and therefore were not under the power or the control of the human or physical government that ruled over them. We see this really being portrayed for us in John chapter 8. In verse 32, Jesus says, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Here Jesus is speaking spiritually. Spiritually, they could be set free from the bondage of sin, the bondage of Satan, but they are looking at it from a physical standpoint, as they so often did. And in verse 33, they answer him, "We be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free?" Well, that's very interesting, because indeed they have been in bondage to men. They've been in bondage to the Egyptians, which came after Abraham. They've been in bondage at times to the Assyrians. They've been at bondage to the Babylonians. And here they are technically in bondage to the Romans. They're not operating off their own system of government, but rather are subject to the Roman government. Hence the reason why Pilate was present, and the reason why Pilate judged determining the crucifixion. And it's interesting that they don't think that they were under bondage, while yet at the very time at which they are saying that statement, they are indeed under bondage to the Romans. And so the Jews would not have been very pleased to have had the type of attitude that Jesus here is teaching. He's teaching them that if a Roman soldier were to come up to them, or if anyone were to come up to them and compel them to do something for them, not only ought to they have done that thing that was desired of them, or commanded or required of them, but they were to go even beyond that point. And we are going to consider in this series, we're only going to have a two-part series regarding this verse, in our next lesson, how we can apply this verse to us today. But here we see what this verse meant to those who heard the verse, and we'll see how it can be applied to our lives and what it ought to mean to us today in our next lesson.